Good afternoon, and welcome to day 16 of our recorded meditations together. Let's go ahead and dive right in. It is a Monday here, the beginning of a new week, and that is always a sign to pause and check in. Check in with what is going on in your body, what's going on in your life around you. So go ahead and land yourself in a spot where you can do your meditation. So your chair, your bed, on the floor, whatever feels good to you. Yeah, and let yourself fully arrive. So feel yourself sitting in that spot. Feel how solid the ground is underneath you. If you're leaning in a chair, you can lean further back. Let yourself actually feel the support of the structure that you're sitting on. Good. And then allow all of yourself to become present in your body at the same time. Even as I say that, I know how impossible that might feel, but imagine you can bring every drop of your awareness fully here to this moment. So every cell in your body is fully on alert, sitting in this position on this phone call. Yeah, and notice the resistance. So if there's part of you that is going, I don't think that sounds like a good idea, or I have a lot to do, so I need to keep my attention on those things that have to be completed after I'm done with this little bit of time I'm going to put into this process. Whatever it is that comes up in you, just notice it and be okay, right? Like, yeah, there are a million things that you could be doing, and yet you felt pulled to choose this one. So there's something that your soul or your heart has wanted to claim for you, which is why you're listening to this. So be really gentle. Be gentle with your body, gentle with your heart. And see if you can allow all of your attention to come here. Yeah, and then notice how just by acknowledging that part of you that doesn't want to be here, it shifts a little bit, it softens. It allows more of you to actually come here. It's so funny how we do that, right? We push those parts of ourselves away that we don't want to look at. We ignore them or tell them they're crazy or try to hide them from other people. And yet that part of us is teaching, is showing us places that need to heal or places that need to come out of hiding, be looked at, be loved on a little bit. Yeah, so let all of that just kind of move around you. It doesn't even have to make sense as I'm saying it. It's just words going into your brain to say, it's okay that we get a little scared or that we fight being still. You know, that's okay sometimes. And yet, what if we keep following through with that intention and we just keep coming more into here? More and more of us arrives in this moment, curious to see what's happening here. Yeah, as I'm saying all of that, you might feel like your body's getting a little heavier. For me, sometimes my shoulders kind of hunch in a little bit and I feel myself leaning more forward, like I'm physically trying to come and be more in this space, huddled up with myself. Yeah, just notice all of it. Yeah, let all of you come into this beautiful body. This amazing combination of skin and cells and blood and bones and water and wisdom. Let all of you land here. Yep. And imagine the chair that you're sitting on or the floor or the bed can become really, really solid and heavy and dense. Almost like Like if you're leaning against a huge, big tree that you know has been around for hundreds of years, and the roots, like you can see where the roots are coming up out of the ground. It's been around so long that the earth has eroded from the root system, right? It's an old, old, old tree. Imagine you're sitting on the base of that, or one of the biggest parts of the root of it, and you hook into the history, the knowing of this ancient tree. Yeah, let your body register how safe that can feel, how solid you are in this moment because you match the energy of that really solid tree. Good. And then anything in your body that's, wanting to pull away from that or fight that or not be totally here, imagine the roots of that tree can just tug at the bottom of your body and just say, it's okay, just be present. Let's just see what happens if we arrive fully in our body in this moment right here. Yeah, you can just imagine anything that's ready to move or that doesn't actually serve the highest potential of you. It can just run right out of your legs or out of your bottom into the roots of the tree and then down into the earth. Yeah, and then you just become this beautiful, relaxed, energetic being that is sitting inside a physical body that is present here on the phone right now. Beautiful. It's amazing, isn't it, how you can shift your, whatever word you want to use, your attitude, your mind, your personality, your imagination, your emotions, any of it. You can shift the vibration of that in just a few minutes with those few steps, right? Just by tapping in and giving yourself the space, you can move into a new, what is the right word? It's like a vibration. It's more like a new mindset, right? A little more room to breathe, a little bit quieter in the mind. Yeah, and so much calmer, right? Your body can just rest. It can just take a break for a moment. Good. So the theme that was coming up for me today when I was preparing for this was the theme of commitment. And it's always so interesting. I never had an actual timeline of how long I thought I would be doing these free meditations, recording them and then sharing them. But maybe in my mind, maybe it's like 30 days, a month, so we're about at the halfway point if I was sticking to that time frame. And I could feel myself today pushing it off, like, oh, I'll get to it later. I'll get to it later. I'll do it later this afternoon. And my family is on spring break this week. And so I started going, well, maybe I should take a spring break. Maybe it's not really necessary that I do one every Monday through Friday. Perhaps it would be better to let everyone take a break. And if they've missed some, they can catch up. And I don't know, would anyone even miss it? Is it even really that necessary? And so it's beautiful. The process that I've committed to here forced me in a way to sit down, because I did meditate earlier this morning, but it forced me to sit down and go, all right, what's actually happening here? Why am I not wanting to do this? And as I sat in the meditation, what was so beautiful was for me to realize the commitment to doing these meditations really wasn't for anyone else. The commitment was to myself. It was to myself to show up, to commit to doing something and put it in practice and then keep coming back to the practice. So for me, the practice is, can I show up without an agenda and see what's here and share it, like straight from my heart into the recording without editing or fine tuning or making sure it sounds polished? Can I just show up and explore what is there for me each time? And it has been a beautiful process for me, a really profound one. And so here I am with this week of fun and play with my family schedule going, I don't know, is it really even necessary? And what I get is a solid yes. Yes, it's necessary for me because the commitment I made was to myself to do this. And so if I let go of that commitment, it's easy to let go of others, and slowly you start to I don't know what the right words are for that, lose touch, unravel, separate a little bit from your own integrity, right? You slowly start to have little threads pull at the edges of what you know your own integrity to be. And then it becomes really slippery. So the commitment feels like a beautiful topic for us to explore today. And also with a couple disclaimers around there, commitment, a commitment made to oneself, when it comes from a pure place, when you're in your meditation and you have a knowing or an idea, and you follow that and you trust that because your mind was quiet when you made that commitment. And so it comes from a really pure heart and soul space. When you do that and you follow that commitment, you'll know when it reaches a completion place. You'll know when you've met that commitment fully, and then it's time for that commitment to end so that room opens for a new one to come in. And yet sometimes we find ourselves hanging on to places where commitments should have been completed, and perhaps the situation that you're in becomes unhealthy or toxic, or maybe it's taking pieces of your soul to stay in that commitment. And when that happens, that's a different topic to look at, right? That feels more like, how do you let go then with grace? How do you let go, honoring that you took the commitment to the place where it felt complete, and you know that in your soul, and so you can then walk away. And that is a fine line. That is a difficult place, for many of us when we reach a transition point. So for today, let's look at the committing portion, and then perhaps we'll explore completions of contracts or agreements in another time. All right, so commitment. Such a big fun word. All right, let's see. What's the best way for us to start? Okay, so go ahead and feel yourself grounding into this moment. So you might want to drop really big roots from your bottom or your feet or your legs, and have them overlap and crisscross with the tree roots that we were imagining right underneath us. And then have that grounding, those roots go even deeper. So go 100, 200, 500 feet into the dirt underneath you. And then sideways out, so you create a web or a grid of groundedness underneath your physical body. Good. And then imagine another 100 feet down. And another 100 feet wide and out. There. What you might feel at this point is a heaviness in the bottom of your belly, or like gravity's kind of tugging you down a little more firmly to the earth. That's the best place from which to make a commitment, because you're anchoring in through your energy system, not through your mind, right? And when you're grounded and rooted, like a tree, you can make commitments to grow and be stronger and bigger and taller, and you're coming from such a solid place that that commitment can be followed through. If you're not rooted, it's like trying to plant a tree and not putting it firmly into the dirt and stuffing the dirt around it and pouring water on it. The tree can't grow as tall as it needs to because it doesn't have that solid base underneath it. So give yourself that solid, deep grounding. And then think of one area that perhaps you have been resisting or struggling with making a commitment. So the commitment could be to do more of something that you're already doing, or the commitment could be to change something that you've been doing. Right? So feel into that for a moment. What area do you want to look at? Yeah. And then let's explore that one area. So you can come back and do this with as many topics as you'd like to commit to, but just pick one for right now. And imagine you can visualize that thing in front of you. So if it's something you want to do more of, here in the States in Ohio, we're getting ready for summer weather. So there's a lot of talk about exercise and nutrition and detoxes of, foods of our bodies. So perhaps it's something like that where you really want to become more healthy or more physically active or a better eater, right? Or it could be the opposite, right? It could be your schedule so busy that what you want to do is create more time to meditate or to read or to be with your family. If you're looking for a job, it could be, that you really want to commit to specific action steps, more networking or more job searching online. Whatever it is, feel in your body, inside the core of you, if you really are serious about committing to doing that thing. Yeah, it has to come from you. It has to come from you, nobody else. So feel inside of you, do I really, really want to do that thing? Yeah, and then notice how almost right away the ideas, the thoughts will pop up in your head of why you can't, why you shouldn't. Right? So for me, thinking about wanting to switch to better nutrition or exercise, immediately my thoughts are, you're not going to have time. It's too busy. And who's going to do that with you? And you're not going to hold yourself accountable, right? All of the chatter starts right away in our head. So when you get that thought that wants to tell you, no, you can't commit it, imagine you can just see it, acknowledge it, go, oh yeah, that could be true. It might be true, I might not have enough time. But in this moment, I'm going to just let that thought go. So you can just run it either out your brain, out to the side, like going out your ears, like a big puff of smoke. Or you can run it down through your body to your feet and just send it down into the roots underneath you. Let the earth take it. And then come back to that commitment. Yeah, what's driving that commitment that you want to make? Why is it so important to you? Yeah, for me, it's I want to feel good. I want my body to feel good. Right? I can get on board with committing to something that's going to make my body feel good. Yep, if you get a thought that comes in to resist that, notice the thought, steam it out your ears, run it down through your body to your feet. Just let the thought go. And then come back to the thing that you want to commit to and feel it in your body again. Yeah, do you notice how it gets a little stronger and firmer? That's how it feels for me. It's like each time I acknowledge the resistance and just look at it and then move it out, it's like the commitment grows bigger inside my body. Like now I really, really want to do that. Yeah, and you might have it happen again. Here comes more resistance, right? You say you really want to do that, but you say that all the time. Are you really, 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 really going to do that? Our minds are so cute. And blow that out your ears like steam, or run it all the way down through to your feet and send it into the earth. Yep. And then come back to that quiet place in the center of your heart. And feel your level of commitment to that thing that you want. Yeah, it should be feeling more solid now. And then ask into that stillness, what is one action step that I can take today? Not tomorrow, not next week. What is one action step that I could take today? It could be as simple as writing it down or putting it on your calendar, right? So for me, with spring break, I know there's no detox starting this week. We're going to be eating unhealthy and there won't be as much exercise time because we're going to be hanging out playing. So for me, it's this firm commitment of I am rallying some of my friends and my daughter, and we are starting next week on Monday, right? So an action step is to contact those friends and tell them, to put it on my calendar so it becomes a priority for next week, right? To start to get some of those pieces in place with the food, grocery list, things that will need to happen so that I can begin the detox on Monday next week. But the commitment is made now, and the action steps will begin today, right? Even if the work part starts next week. And then the power of it is making that commitment to yourself. So I can tell all my friends that I want to do it. I can ask my daughter to hold me accountable. But I have to believe, for me, that that commitment is non-negotiable. Because it's in my heart space. It's from my core. I know this is something I choose to do. And because I made the commitment to myself, I will follow through on that. Yeah. So check back in with your heart one more time with that commitment. Is there anything else to know in this moment? And then big breath out. You can run that breath all the way down to your feet. Ground yourself more into this moment. Good. Good. Good, good. All right, so I'm going to leave you in this space. You can explore more commitments that you want to make if you'd like, and then follow that same process. Or you can ask for more action steps, perhaps, that will help you move towards that thing that you're committing to. Or you can just sit here for a few moments and just breathe. Just slow the pace down and be fully present and listen. See if there's anything else that your heart or your soul want to share with you while you're in this space. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. So much love from my heart to yours.